Okay, a quick look at right hand picking hand damping. So normally you would damp out the strings with your thumb, but we're going to look at another technique. I will come back to thumb in a minute, but the technique I want to show you first is something I would call string catching, which means you stop the string with the picking finger that has just played it. So with one finger you could use this technique. So now normally as you play a string you'd rest through onto the string underneath like that. But if you stop the string with the picking finger that you've just used, you can either have it as long or as short as you want. Now if we introduce alternating fingers, the effect it gives us is as the finger picks the string, the next finger will take its place. That gives us a nice short stroke length. Also gives the advantage, because the fingers are working quite closely against the string, of being able to play quite quickly. Etc. So another good exercise to run through with the string catching technique is either triplets, and notice how the picking fingers are changing lead fingers. By that I mean normally finger 1 would be playing on the beat, but as we're using 3 notes per beat, the fingers are swapping over the lead position, as it were. So we've got finger 1, 2, 1, 2. And notice how I'm stopping the string before I get to the low ones and galloping rhythms. Okay, the other consideration here is the thumb. As I said, we'll get onto that in a minute, but something you don't see that's quite as common is using the fourth finger and the third finger for damping the strings as you go across the from low to high. So going from the E string to the A string, at that point you'll notice my thumb has landed on the E string, but so also have my third and fourth finger. So the E string is now completely damped, and I'm playing on the A. From there we move on to the D, and notice how my third finger has now landed onto the A string. So now the A is completely damped. So thumb on the E, fourth finger on the E as well, and third finger on the A. So that's now completely damped. And of course, as I play the D string, my picking fingers are making sure that's either as short or as long as needed. And again onto the G string. So now as I pick through from the G string, the finger that's just played the G string will rest on the D string, again hence the rest stroke, but the other finger will take its place. So at that position you now have all the strings in perfect control, completely muted, and the fretting hand's not doing anything right now. Obviously, when you introduce the fretting hand, then you get complete control of the strings. But this way, you have control of what the picking hand is now actually doing. And notice I'm just stopping the string before I get back onto the lower string. Again, it's not something you'd normally use in everyday playing, although you might in certain circumstances. But what it does teach the picking hand is control of the strings and being more aware of what the picking hand is doing when it comes to actually producing tone or trying to produce silence and keeping the bass strings quiet. So there's quite a lot that the picking hand can do. And the same goes for the thumb as well. There's two techniques you can think about when it comes to damping. There's the floating thumb that James Jamerson was very fond of using. And again, this works really well on 5 and 6 string basses. So as you play through the strings, your thumb just very gently rests on the rest of the strings. Obviously, also known as the floating thumb technique for obvious reasons. And as I come back through, the thumb just follows the rest of the hand. Another thing you can do with the thumb is hop onto the next string as you play up. So from the E, A, onto the D, so now the thumb drops onto the A string, so that's now completely damped. And if you feel the need, you can also drop that onto the D string, and you can see that that is now damping all of the strings. The thumb is now lying across the A string and the E string, and it's got the D string damped as well. So there we have it. You've got 3 basic techniques that you can work on, and it's all a case of what you feel comfortable using. So I hope you enjoyed that, and there'll be more videos to follow. Thanks very much.